Well, since you were talking a lot about New York, I figure I'll talk about my New York experience, which was coming to Manhattan for the first time with my band, the Minx, to play the Squat Theater, opening for Sun Ra, and discovering this world of clubs and affordable apartments and lofts. And I ended up dropping out of college and coming down here to play Max's Kansas City and CBGB's. And I just felt like I was in the ultimate playground. And I could work at Barnes & Noble and play music and make enough money to afford my $600 a month loft on 14th and 6th that I shared with 3 other girls. And New York has changed a lot since then, but I still love New York. And as much as I've traveled and hung out in other cities and been tempted, I stay near New York. I don't live in Manhattan anymore. I live in Hoboken, New Jersey, but I can see the Empire State Building from my kitchen window, and I like to watch the colors and see what kind of statement they're making from night to night. And I love riding the PATH train and coming into the city and, still recognizing Manhattan as I knew it. It's, again, it's changed a lot. I don't think I could come and live here now as I did in my early 20s. But coming here like today and having this great experience in Westbeth, which is still here, is wonderful. And I think the grit and the hardness of New York has kept me on my toes and kept me alert and kept me from being complacent. And the mixture of languages in a restaurant or on the train, the different cultures all mashed up and mushed up, is exhilarating. I grew up in Chicago, which isn't a podunk town, but it didn't have the cultural mix that New York has and that I've thrived on. And I've loved making music here and creating a home at different bars and restaurants and getting to know, you get your little community of bartenders, and it does become like a small town when you get those little areas that you can go into. And, and I've watched a lot of things end. Places that we played, the Rodeo Bar, the Lakeside Lounge, 9C, Banjo Gyms. But no matter where I go, I think I'll always want to come back here and touch the mother stone of cities and, walk up 6th Avenue and ride the subway and drive across the Brooklyn Bridge and just know that I'm in one of the biggest, most exciting cities in the world, and that unlike Paris or London, it's kind of mine because I know it so well. And I've been here and been through so many things here. So I feel like I have a very special relationship to New York City. Well, my relationship with David Plackey goes all the way back to when I was pregnant with my daughter, who's now 27. And we had opened a bookstore in Hoboken, New Jersey. People told me, "You're crazy, nobody in New Jersey reads." But we had faith. It was a funky little town. And one day David came in with, I think it was a chicken salad sandwich that he had made for me, knowing I was probably hungry, out to here pregnant. I think it was August. And we became lifelong friends, and we're still friends. And during that time, we published a book of his photographs all about Hoboken, Portrait of a Mile Square City, and started a little press that we actually published about 3 books. And throughout the years, when David was living in Hoboken, we just constantly crossed paths. I worked as a photo assistant with him. I worked back in the darkroom when it was still plunging photos into chemical dishes and hanging them to dry, and did art, photographing art shows. And then David started playing music which I didn't realize he was as musical as he is, and he actually played some music with my band, particularly the Creedence Clearwater Revival show that he played some really great saxophone on. And then he started teaching at the school my daughter was going to. He actually came to Maine with me to visit my father, who got such a charge out of him, and hardly liked anybody. So that was nice. And I've met his children, and then when David moved into New York, it didn't end. Sometimes when someone leaves Hoboken, that's kind of the end of the friendship, or becomes a little. But we managed to stay friends, even if I don't see David for like 2 years. I think we've had a 2-year period here and then, but immediately it's just connected, reconnecting very quickly, and I'm always excited to see his photos. When we need photos, I always call David because he knows me, and as you say, talking about the tribes, I feel like we have a tribe between him and me and my partner Boo. We know each other so well, and we've seen each other go from young pups to mature adults, and have a great appreciation that we've all stayed in the arts. It's not that easy, and yet here we are. So to me, that's my favorite part of my friendship with David, is that it's lasted all these years, and we still have a great respect for each other's art, and we're still doing our art. And doing whatever we have to do to be able to continue to do our art. Except we don't turn tricks anymore. We're done with that. So I shouldn't have said that, right? It's so bad. See, he brings that out in me. I can't help it. But that's, your friends that you really like. You can get dirty with them, and you'll get a laugh, and you won't offend them. So. But Boo and I have been coming to David for many years. Since our first album, back in '95, he shot the photo for the back of the album. I still love that photo. And since then, he's been, providing us with all our, promo shots. And I know that, he won't make me look horrible or feel horrible about something I did in a photo. We feel great trust with him. And it's fun to watch over the years as the photos evolve. But Boo and I came together in my bookstore in Hoboken. Somebody told me there was a banjo player. I used to play a lot of bluegrass albums in my store. And I thought, whatever, somebody in Hoboken, New Jersey plays banjo. But he came in one day, and we jammed in the store, and he really could play banjo. And together we found this love of bluegrass. Now this was before Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? So bluegrass was extremely exotic in New York. And then Danny Schott, who had a magazine called Long Shot, had an intern who was working at WKCR hosting the Moonshine Show on Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. And he told his intern about us, and that began this long process where we ended up playing live on that show, and then we ended up on a TV show, and we ended up getting booked for all these bluegrass gigs. And the next thing you knew, we had a band, and we called it the Demolition String Band, and we're still going today. Although we've morphed into an electric honky-tonk band. Now I guess you can call us Americana. We've toured the United States and Europe, and we were beginning our 3rd tour of Ireland. We found some sort of a niche over there. And, we continue to play all over. Although I would say Manhattan, the live music spots have dried up pretty much. It's mostly in Brooklyn now. But, we gig regularly, and we're proud that we're New Yorkers and that we play this kind of music here. Although now it's way more common to have country and bluegrass and mountain and honky-tonk in New York. But, we feel like we were there, back when 9C on the corner of 9th and Avenue C was one of the few places you would come and see this kind of music. And we were holding down the Alphabet City Opry every Monday night for about 2 years as part of an ensemble of musicians that played this music. And So, you know, you love a city, you do what you do, and you don't care that it's not the Mecca. You know, everybody's like, oh, you should go to Nashville, you should go to Austin, but we stayed here in New York. And we watched New York kind of, I mean, I'm not saying we're the reason it developed, but we watched a country music scene develop around us. And it's been good to us, so there you go.